everyone. I'm here today to share this year's Coretta Scott King Award winners and honor books with you. The Coretta Scott King Awards are given annually to outstanding African American authors and illustrators of books for children and young adults that demonstrate an appreciation of African American culture and universal human values. The award commemorates the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and honors his wife, Mrs. Coretta Scott King, for her courage and determination to continue the work for peace and world brotherhood. There are several awards given, one for author, one for illustrator, and one for new talent. These books are the winner and were nominated for the author award. In this book, All the Days Past, All the Days to Come by Mildred Taylor, the story of the Logan family, who you might remember from Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, comes to a conclusion. Now, you don't have to have read any of her other books about Cassie Logan and her family in order to enjoy this one. It works all on its own. But those are some other books you can enjoy to go along with it. Anyway, in this book, Cassie is a young woman and is searching for her place in the world. Her journey takes her from Toledo to California to law school in Boston, and ultimately in the 60s home to Mississippi to participate in voter registration. She's witness to the now historic events of the century, the Great Migration North, the rise of the Civil Rights Movement, preceded and precipitated by the racist Society of America and the often violent confrontations that brought about change. In King and the Dragonflies by Case and Callender, 12-year-old Kingston James and his family are dealing with the sudden loss of his brother. King is sure that his brother Khaled has turned into a dragonfly. When his brother unexpectedly passed away, he shed what was his first skin for another to live down by the bayou in their small Louisiana town. Khaled still visits in dreams, and King must keep these secrets to himself as he watches grief transform his family. At the same time, his best friend Sandy goes missing, sparking a town-wide search. And when King finds his former best friend hiding in a tent in his backyard, he agrees to help his friend Sandy escape from his abusive father, and the two begin in an adventure as they build their own private paradise down by the bayou and among the dragonflies. Lifting as We Climb, Black Women's Battle for the Ballot Box by Yvette Dion is a nonfiction book that tells the important, overlooked story of black women as a force in the suffrage movement, when fellow suffragists did not accept them as equal partners in the struggle. This book is an empowering story of African American women who refused to accept all of it. Women in black church groups, black female sororities, black women's improvement societies and social clubs. Women who formed their own black suffrage associations when white-dominated national suffrage groups rejected them. It highlights women who were notable as the founders of the National Association of Colored Women and of the NAACP, educator activists, and journalists who were leaders both in the suffrage and anti-lynching movements. Before the Ever After by Jacqueline Woodson is a novel in verse, which means it's written through poems. Every couple pages is a different poem that tells the story. And it's a story about ZJ and his dad and their family. ZJ's dad was a professional football player in the late 90s and has been diagnosed with a brain disease that causes him to lose his memory. And ZJ and his mom are dealing with the effects of his dad not being able to remember things that he probably should be able to remember, and dealing with doctors who don't understand exactly what's going on. And as they're dealing with these things, they're learning how to hold on to family traditions and remember the glory days, while also wondering what their past amounts to if his father can't remember it. And most importantly, can those happy feelings ever be reclaimed when they're all so busy aching for the past? These are the books that were nominated for the Illustrator Award. Magnificent Homespun Brown was written by Samara Cole-Doyen and illustrated by Kaylani Juanita. It's told by a succession of exuberant young narrators. It's a song, a poem, a celebration about feeling at home in one's own beloved skin. So here's just a couple of the pictures. I love her hair in this one. And another one. I'll show you one more. Not that one. Yeah, this one. Gwendolyn Brooks is known for her poems about real life. This book, Exquisite, The Poetry and Life of Gwendolyn Brooks, was written by Suzanne Slade and illustrated by Cosby A. Cabrera. Exquisite follows Gwendolyn from early girlhood into her adult life, showcasing her desire to write poetry from a very young age. I'm going to show you some of the pictures. They're very colorful. Me and Mama was written and illustrated by Cosby A. Cabrera. On a rainy day when the house smells like cinnamon and Papa and Luca are still asleep, when the clouds are wearing shadows and the wind paints the window with beads of water, our main character wants to be everywhere Mama is. So there's Mama, and there's our main character. Mama's cup and her cup. And then they get dressed. And let's look at one more. Let's do this one. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, was written by Carol Boston Weatherford and illustrated by Frank Morrison. This book is the illustrator winner. Well, Frank Morrison is the illustrator winner for this year. And we don't have this book yet at the library, but it's coming. So I can't show you all the pictures, but I can show you the cover. So here's the front cover. And then here's what the whole dust jacket looks like. I think it's really a fantastic picture that wraps around the back of the book. So this rhythmic picture book biography tells the story of Aretha Franklin. She was the daughter of a pastor and a gospel singer. Her musical talent was clear from her earliest days in her father's Detroit church, where her soaring voice spanned more than 3 octaves. Her string of hit songs earned her the title the Queen of Soul, multiple Grammy Awards, and a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Aretha didn't just raise her voice in song. She also spoke out against injustice and fought for civil rights. The John Steptoe Award for New Talent is given to authors who have never written a book before and whose work embodies all of the things the Coretta Scott King Award honors. This book is called Legend Born by Tracy Dion, and it is a book written for young adults. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or her childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called legend-born students that hunt the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw.